Well, well, well. It wasn't the outcome that we wanted. But I am happy to say that I am no longer alone because our guy is back. What is up, everybody? And welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Meet on the 50. It is our conference championship review episode. And man, oh man, do we have a lot to unpack and a lot to talk about, lots of thoughts, lots of feelings being thrown around here. We got to share them with you guys. So without further ado, let's start the show. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Meet on the 50. You know what it is. It is time for us to review the action that took place this past weekend in the NFL, and it was conference championship weekend, and the Super Bowl is set. And we are 0 for 2. But I am excited to announce the return of one of my best friends, my partner in this show. He's back. He's feeling good. He's feeling ready to let out all of his just frustrations. You know who he is. But everybody, welcome back, Mr. Brandon Sullivan. Brandon, how you doing?
Thanks, Jake. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I just have a lot of gratitude. Obviously, it was a rough couple of weeks for me, and you kind of take your health for granted sometimes. I think we all do until we get really sick or something happens. And I'm just super thankful that I feel good and I'm not in pain anymore. And it was bummed to have to miss our episodes because I wanted to talk about the 49ers, obviously your Bengals. Wasn't the outcome we were looking for. So just a rough weekend for me, though, overall, as far as with football wise.
Yeah, we are happy to have you back. I'm happy to have you back. We have tons of football to talk about. But first, we have got to celebrate your 4-0 divisional round record. So let's put it back up on the screen for our guy. Nice job, my friend. 4-0 on the divisional round. 1-0 on your guaranteed victory. Great job. Just had to give you your kudos to your face. Your first undefeated week. Congratulations. Well done. All right. Moving on. To whatever the hell we watched on Sunday. The worst officiated weekend I've ever seen in my entire life, and it just happened to happen in back-to-back games. And we could talk about the first game. There was terrible officiating calls in the first game, but that obviously wasn't the decider of the outcome.
Right.
But the second game, man, holy moly, Ron Tolbert, what the? You know what? I'll bleep it out. What the is your problem, dude? What the hell is your problem, dog? Holy moly. Back-to-back years. Back-to-back years. You make the call in the Super Bowl with Logan Wilson, and then you make the call. Ron Tolbert, man, I don't know what your beef is. I don't know who's paying you on the side, but holy moly, man, you need to clean it up, and the NFL needs to clean it up.
Yep.
Let's talk about these games. Let's get into the first game. And we don't need to really talk about these games, actually. You know what? We're going to flip the script because we all watch the games and we'll get our thoughts on the games. But what I want to hear is I want to hear your thoughts on the 49ers season. Going through 4 different quarterbacks, still getting to the NFC Championship game, becoming literally probably one of the best teams in the NFL. So, was it a tough season? Sure. But the 49ers didn't lose from week 8 on. 3 months of straight winning. So, you can give me your thoughts, your frustrations, let it out, air it out. That's your time. This is your time to do it. But also give us your thoughts on just the 49ers and just their season. How your feelings, some takeaways. Obviously it's disappointing. Obviously it's not what we wanted, but just your overall takeaways from the season, from the weekend. And what do you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, you looking at the 49ers, they started off the season 3-4, as you mentioned. We were, obviously we went to that Denver game together. That was one of the worst games I've ever been to. It was just so boring. I always tell people that, it was a punt fest. It was like some of the best punting I've ever seen in my life. That's like, talk about like, if you want to talk about like, you want to see punting, like you want to see good punting, go watch that game. Yeah. But that's ridiculous that's what we're there. Just a horrible game to watch. And then, when we were in Boston together, we were at Treehouse. We saw, we had it on the, we had the game on as far as with the Falcons.
Yeah.
The game didn't go well. And then, back-to-back weeks, I fly in that Saturday night. The next Saturday night, Sunday, we get destroyed by the Chiefs. I didn't know what to think, man. I really didn't know what to think. I mean, week 2, your franchise quarterback that you traded all these picks for, Trey Lance, goes down. And then you got Jimmy coming back in, so you're like, whew, like you kind of take a deep breath, but then you're like, oh no, like last year we were 2-5, this year we're 3-4. We're constantly playing with fire. We're gonna be able to dig ourselves out of this hole. Luckily, Jimmy Garoppolo was able to put together a 4 or 5 game win streak. Thankful for that. And then obviously the inevitable happened. Brock came in, and he paved the way. So just kind of an incredible story. And that's why it's just so disheartening, because when you look at last year at 2-5, we started the season and then we ended 10-7. We finished the season 8-2. We had an incredible comeback against the Rams. We went to, we did the Rams dirty work. We went to, we went to Green Bay. Obviously we beat Dallas, but then we went to Green Bay, beat them in Lambeau. We had a 17-7 lead to start the 4th quarter against the Rams to go to the Super Bowl, and we blew it. Jaworski Tart dropped a pick. Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't manufacture a drive at the end of the game. We ended up losing. So, but it would have been such an incredible story if we would have went to the Super Bowl. Just, Jimmy was banged up. The season was we started off 2-5. This year, 3-4. For us to rattle off 10 straight wins, to beat Seattle 3 times in one season, obviously to beat Dallas, the amazing game against the Raiders, that was super fun to watch. Just watching Brock come in, obviously against the Dolphins, and just and obviously destroying Tom Brady. It's one for the books, and it's just so sad how it ended.
Yeah.
You get so far, and you're watching the beginning of the Philadelphia game. Devontae Smith wasn't a catch. Kyle Shanahan should have challenged that.
Yeah.
At that point, as a coach, you probably should have challenged that, but it's so early in the game. You don't know if you're going to lose the challenge. You don't know if you're going to lose it. You need the challenge later in the game. Yep. It's a tough decision to make instantaneously.
Yep, I agree.
And so, but I thought our defense was going to be able to hold them. I thought our defense played really well.
Yeah.
Obviously, when Brock Purdy goes out, he goes out in the first drive. It's demoralizing. I mean, you got Josh Johnson, who is a journeyman. He's been on several different teams at this point.
Several different leagues at this point.
Different leagues, and you're thinking, okay, maybe we have a shot if our defense can play well, but it's just too demoralizing. And then he gets hurt. And they asked George Kittle. They said, what is it like to have to you lose a game because you don't even have a chance to win the game because you don't have a starting quarterback? And he said it's just really crappy. Like, it's just a really terrible feeling. And I know I talked to some people about the game, And, I've just, I expressed my disappointment, and everybody says, well, there's always next year. And the way I look at it is I just don't look at it like that. We don't know what next year's going to be. We don't know who's going to be our coaches. We don't know if Brock's going to be able to come back.
Yep.
We don't know, if Trey's going to get hurt. We don't know if, our new defensive coordinator is going to work out. We don't know any of that stuff. So it's just so sad, because that this is the one time that this unit is assembled, and this team is never going to be the same. Yeah. People are going to leave. Jimmy Ward might leave. We might trade somebody. Just so sad for the 49ers, because they get so close. It would have been such an amazing story, and just to not even have a chance to win the game. I know Eagles fans are saying, we exposed the 49ers defense. We exposed you guys, all this stuff. When we're on the field for, the entire game, the defense is frustrated, tired, they're detached. We don't even have a quarterback. The defense knows you don't have a chance, because they know you're going to run the ball. All they did was load the box, and that was it. So we just didn't even have a fair shot. I wish we would have had a fair chance. So that's where I'm at. Just very, very sad that had to happen on the first drive. The game was so boring, and you just already knew it was going to happen. It was just just not entertaining.
Yeah. The Eagles had the ball. I was just looking it up right now. The Eagles had the ball for 15 more minutes than the Niners. So in game time, that's a lot of time.
Or what is it, like 25 to
37 minutes to 22 minutes. So, yeah. So, I mean, like you said, right? I mean, the defense going to be on the field that long. Of course, they're going to make mistakes. Of course, holes are going to open up, right? But at the same time, if you also look at the box score and you look at the receiving numbers, no one got over 50 yards receiving. No one got over 40 yards receiving. So the Niners the corners did what they needed to do. It was seriously the unfortunateness of the San Francisco 49ers not having a gajillion quarterbacks at their disposal. That is really what happened to the San Francisco 49ers. No team
usually has to go through more than four or even two quarterbacks. Like, when was the last time you saw a fourth string quarterback come in? When was the last time the fourth string
in an NFC Championship game?
Yeah. When was the last time the fourth string quarterback practice squad string? No, essentially fifth string.
Yeah.
Because he was behind Nate Sudfeld.
Yeah.
So essentially, you have the way it was is you had Trey, Jimmy, Nate Sudfeld, Brock, and then Josh Johnson. Nate Sudfeld they released. Josh Johnson wasn't even a thing until
Jimmy got hurt. Yeah.
So you're talking about essentially fifth string quarterback. Get hurt, practice squad quarterback, and you're having to have your running back throw passes. I've never in my life have ever seen anything like that.
I mean, I completely agree. And if you look at the box score of the Philadelphia Eagles, it is so unimpressive that it really is just, it's really just a shame that the San Francisco 49ers could not keep their players healthy. And obviously, we can talk about these injuries coming off the right side. So that obviously needs to be addressed. All three of these injuries came off the right side, even though Trey rushed up the middle. Still, he was on the right side when that happened. So,
yeah, we need a right tackle bad. McClinchy and whatever, extra, because it was Tyler Croft who missed the block or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a bad decision by Kyle Shanahan, but McGlinchey's awful. This guy is, please just, you've got to go. You've got to go. My thing is everybody else I'm good with. McGlinchey's got to go.
Yeah, I agree. All these injuries have come off the right side. With Hassan Reddick. I mean, like you said, right? The block was missed, but at the same time, still coming off the right side. They know their weakness. So it's unfortunate. There's a lot of things. It's unfortunate for Brock Purdy and the people who, you see all over Twitter, right? All the Twitter trolls calling him soft or rub some dirt on it or things like that. Well, are you saying that now after his elbow is basically torn to pieces? So, it's just ridiculous. And all these people getting on Josh Johnson, you can go over the resume of Josh Johnson. You can go over it. He's been on 13 different NFL teams. He's been in the XFL. He's been in the USFL. He's been everywhere. This man, there's a reason why this man has been on a gajillion different teams. He can play the position of quarterback, but he's not a good quarterback. So, sure, the defense could have possibly held better. The run defense could have possibly held up more. But at the same time, if you're getting on Josh Johnson, that it really makes zero sense. The guy was never, ever going to do anything. Never has done anything.
Sometimes I don't understand decisions by NFL ownerships or leadership or even like GMs. Like, why not try? Here's my thing. When you know that your quarterbacks have gotten hurt and they're susceptible to getting hurt, and you know that there's a chance that Brock Purdy get hurt, because I think, having Josh Johnson, essentially, we have a body there filling in that position.
Basically,
Brock
exactly.
Purdy's not gonna get hurt. You should have anticipated that there was a chance that he's going to get hurt and be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And got Cam Newton. Why not?
Or somebody.
Because I trust Cam Newton more than I trust Josh Johnson.
Yeah.
I think Cam Newton would do fine in our system. Not saying he would play better than Brock Purdy. I'm just saying he would have given us a better chance than Josh Johnson.
Yeah, or I mean, really anybody. I mean, they could have easily made a traded away a late round draft pick for a backup quarterback. There's a lot of things that they should have done. Hindsight's 2020. Obviously, I'm sure now they'll probably focus on that position, knowing that they have three, not really injury-prone quarterbacks, because Brock, that's kind of a freak thing. Trey, same thing. Jimmy, obviously injury-prone. But you got to have quarterbacks on this roster. Plain and simple. You got to have quarterbacks on this roster, and you also need to check out your training staff, because obviously freak incidents happen, but 3 injuries to your most important position, something has got to change in the way that these guys are training to get more strength in some areas. I don't know what it is, but three coincidences.
The line needs to block better.
I agree. 3 coincidences, right? It's a mix of a lot of things, right? That line, addressing the right side, which, like we've said, they need to do dramatically. So the San Francisco 49ers, unfortunately, injuries plagued and kind of derailed the season fully. Injuries kept trying to derail the season, but they kept fighting it off. They would throw out Jimmy. He won 5 in a row. Then they throw out Brock. He runs 7 in a row. Then they throw out. Then he gets hurt. And then you have a body in Josh Johnson. So, who didn't play bad. I mean, 7 for 13. Not terrible. So, it's just really a culmination of everything. I think it's kind of what you said. It's just very demoralizing when you go out there and your quarterback is not there. You have another backup in there, another guy you really have zero practice with. So, you could say that the Niners need to go back to the drawing board. That's really not the case. The Niners just need to re-sign a couple people, add a couple people, get healthy, and sort out your quarterback room. Because now you have 3 very viable options, and if one of them, you only got one starter. There's only one starter on Sunday. So figure it out, make some trades, get some picks back. San Francisco 49ers, I imagine, will come back stronger than ever next year. But like you said, we never know. So we shall see what happens. Congratulations to DeMeco Ryan, new head coach of the Houston Texans. Congratulations on also not having to go into next season with that monocle, thanks to the Indianapolis Booty Meat Colts. San Francisco 49ers. Great season. Injuries, unfortunate. However, hell of a season.
Yep.
They
overachieved for sure. When Trey Lance went out, I think I texted you and said the season's over. I didn't know what to expect, because Jimmy's injury prone and he did get hurt again. So if we didn't have Brock Purdy, we probably wouldn't even have made the wild card round or
Exactly.
Whatever. So we're lucky that just a season of overachievement for
and
sure.
biggest things, Christian McCaffrey's coming back, George Kittle's coming back, Debo's coming back, Brandon Ayuk will get sorted out, right? You have everybody, you have your main core pieces coming back. So the San Francisco 49ers.
You think he'll come back?
Who?
Trent Williams? You think
Trent Williams definitely going to come back.
He can retire.
He loves the Niners. No, he'll come back for one more year. I think he's still ready to go. Definitely after that NFC, after that championship game, 100% he will come back ready to go next year. So fix the right side of the line, San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next season. Our final game. Man, oh man. What a great game. Just a hell of a game overall. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until the end. And then, for whatever reason, the NFL just hates the Cincinnati Bengals. Just hates them. Making the Bengals win the division by 2.5 games. Not having the Buffalo Bills Bengal game at a neutral site. Not having the Chiefs game at a neutral site. Giving the Chiefs an extra play. Ticky-tacky penalties. It's just unbelievable. It's just absolutely unbelievable. I think enough has been said about this game. It's all over Twitter. It is all over. It is all over sports media. And I couldn't be happier because I love the fact that not just Bengal fans are finally speaking out about how ridiculous of a job and how crazy it is that one, you literally put your two worst crews on the most important games in your season, aside from the Super Bowl. This weekend is the most important weekend in your league, and you put the two worst crews out there. Negligence. Bona fide negligence. Ron Tolbert should never ref another playoff game ever in the history of his life. And we can go back and forth all day on how we fix officiating, right? It's kind of like what Pat McAfee was tweeting as well. Going to full-time refs instead of part-time refs, right? Having these guys have an actual interest in not being swayed from outside people, because we're not saying that the NFL is rigged. But you go back into any sports and we can bring up issues. There have always been officials who have been questionable, and there have always been officials swayed, right? Most recently, Tim Donahue, right? The referee who was fixing games in the NBA. It happens. Not saying that was fixed. Not saying the game was fixed. No, the game wasn't fixed. It was just terribly officiated. Just terribly officiated. Extremely one-sided. Extremely. And yes, that is coming from me, a Bengals fan. It's also coming from the casual fans. 59 million people watched that game on Sunday. 59 million people saw the worst officiated game in the history of the NFL. Did the Bengals have their chances? Sure, the Bengals had their chances. But when you're being carried and you're being handheld the entire game, it sure makes your chances a lot slimmer than the other teams. So, sure, we can talk about the officiating and we can talk about the opportunities, but instead, we're just going to talk about this Bengal team because, yet again, another year of just complete and utter success. Just absolute dominance. Just like the San Francisco 49ers not losing for 3 months. Week 9, win, boom. We're off. We got some things to figure out in the offseason. We got some pieces that we need to retain and bring back. We got Joey, obviously. That sounds like he's setting up to kind of reset that quarterback market in terms of contracts, which, frankly, he deserves. You know, it's just one of those things, right? You could say injuries, right? You could say our offensive line. But they played pretty well in Buffalo in snowy conditions, right? They didn't play too well in Kansas City, right? So that was one of the factors. Our running game never was able to get going. Definitely one of the factors. So there are definitely keys to why the Bengals did not win on Sunday. However, again, there were a lot of things that kind of influenced that outcome that weren't the Bengals, right? Referees are designed to call games. They're not designed to decide games, which is basically what happened on Sunday. So it is what it is. The nice thing is Bengals still 3-1 against the Chiefs. They're still 2-1 at Burrowhead. So Chris Jones, you can honestly GFY yourself, dog, because you're really super lame. You're talking crap about going up against backup linemen. God, I hope if a Meteor could just dominate State Farm Arena, that would be the best option on Super Bowl Sunday. But, that's not going to happen. Just a lot of things, right? But most importantly, I guess, let's get back on track. The Bengals, solid season. Great season. Could not be happier for my team, right? 31 years. I talked about it last year. 31 years. We had 0 playoff wins. In the last 5 total playoff wins in our history as a franchise. 2 years. 5 playoff wins. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, right? I've named them off. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, right? Logan Wilson, Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, DJ Reader, BJ Hill, all these guys, right? Jermaine, Joseph, all these guys, man. These guys are ballers. These guys are gamers. The Bengals organization has 100% turned around. I am confident we'll get to the mountaintop someday. I have to be confident in the quarterback that we have. He gives me nothing but confidence. A stupid little game-winning field goal when the world is against us does not at all waver my confidence in Joey. So the Bengals will be back. I have no doubt about that in my mind. The only thing I can hope is that they're going up against a one-time Super Bowl winning champion in Patrick Mahomes and not a 2-time. So we'll see what happens. But the Cincinnati Bengals, I can't say nothing but good things about this season. I can't say nothing but good things about this team, about our coaches, about everybody. And I love that they're not being poached. I love it. Keep doubting the Bengals, man. Leave Lou alone. Lou doesn't need to go anywhere, okay? Leave Lou alone, all right? Lou doesn't need any of your stupid little jobs, okay? He doesn't need any of your little garbage, little toxic environments. No. He can stay right there in Cincinnati coaching my defense to just greatness. So I'll take it. Your thoughts on the Bengals?
Yeah, the Bengals, I thought at the start of the season it was going to be the Super Bowl hangover. And, they definitely proved me wrong. I thought that, for sure they were going to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, they were, in my opinion, just the best team in the AFC. And you could make an argument that they're the best team in the league. Joe Burrow, just an incredible quarterback. What he did in Buffalo and what the team was able to do in Buffalo was huge. The Buffalo is no pushover. They're one of the juggernauts. And so for them to go to Buffalo in a hostile environment, just with all of the, obviously, momentum and the whole emotional, DeMar Hamlin, situation and him being there and just a really well put together team. And, credit to your team. They had a really good year. And like you said, with their backs were against the wall. And obviously, the officiating was definitely one-sided in that game. And for them to only lose by a field goal, that's something to hang your hat on. And I definitely think they're going to be back. I just think it's going to, I just think they need to, like you said, get those pieces intact, make sure everything's kind of remains the same, maybe add a couple of free agents, but, they have that core and, they have, in my opinion, Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are the 2 best receivers in the league. You can make an argument for either. After I saw that Jamar Chase got catch in double coverage, I was like, dude, this guy is just a straight G. So I think they're the 2 best receivers in the league. Anybody would kill to have either one.
I agree.
I know I would. I would love to have either one of those receivers. Obviously, you have a really good running back in Joe Mixon. He's a top 5 back in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hayden Hurst showing up. He's a good tight end. And also, you got T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. I mean, those are 2 really good receivers. And you got, like you said, Logan Wilson. You got some people on the defensive side. So Bengals are an impressive team, and they've come a long way. And Joe Burrow is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. I'm not going to say, it's all subjective and everybody's opinion, but to me, the best 3 quarterbacks are Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes, those 3. And I think it's very close. I think it could be 1A, 1B, 1C. So just a really good season for you guys. And, wasn't the result I was hoping for. I was hoping, if the 49ers didn't make it, I was like, please just let the Bengals make it so that I have a team that I can root for. I don't want to have to root for a meteor. You know what I mean? Those don't happen very often and stuff. So, now I'm kind of where it's like, I don't really care. I don't really care because, not one, just one of our teams we were hoping would make it, man.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And one day, someday,
here's this. It can't get any worse. Let's put it this way. It can't get any worse. Both of our teams getting eliminated last year. Your team made it at least this year.
Exactly.
Can't get any worse than it is this year. With this Super Bowl is awful. It cannot. I really can't think of anything worse besides like Seattle versus like
Pittsburgh. That's a good one. Yeah, Seattle, Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Or Kansas City. Seattle,
Patriots, Panthers. It's been a while since there's actually been like kind of like just a doo-doo Super Bowl, and we definitely got a doo-doo Super Bowl. We'll see what happens. Like both the Niners, we say the same thing every year.
Next year, man. In Vegas, it could be us next year. It could be our time next year.
Right. We'll see what happens. The nice thing is these teams are not stagnant. These teams do not want to keep being who they are. They're going to keep adding pieces. They're going to keep moving pieces. They're going to keep shifting pieces, rotating pieces. They're going to keep doing what they need to do in order to stay where they're at, right? The Niners have been that. That's the history of the Niners, right? They fall down sometimes, but generally they're always on top. The Bengals, we all know who they were. They're the Bungles. They have been known to never spend money. They have been known to just do nothing and just waste time. They're the Bengals now. And the Bengals don't waste time. So I fully expect us to add pieces this offseason, right? La'el Collins, get healthy, come back. We need you. That was a massive, massive loss. Jonah Williams, I do not like you at all, but we need you. And if we can't get a better left tackle, get healthy, man. We need you for next season. So I'm super impressed with the backup linemen who came in and handled business. I couldn't ask anything more from them, so I would not knock them. Great season. Great season from both of our teams. Obviously, we're both disappointed. But at the end of the day, I really am super proud. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I really am super proud to be a Bengals fan. And I know you're really super proud to be a Niners fan. And our squads,
I think
they'll figure it out.
I think this disappointment, because my disappointment, 6 NFC championships in the last 12 years.
Yeah.
Being 4 years old, I wasn't able to witness, the 49ers winning with, I was 3 or 4 years old when they won with Steve Young. I don't have any recollection of that. I don't even know if I was watching the game. I know my grandma said that we were at my aunt's house. I don't know. I never saw it. I've never witnessed this team win a Super Bowl. They won one when I was alive. It does for what it matters, but I've never seen it. My team's been in the NFC Championship game 6 times in the last 12 years, years 2. You've had those 2 AFC championships in the last few years. And all I got to say is I really think that this disappointment will look at it this way. I think one day, who knows when it's going to be, our teams will win the Super Bowl. And I think that all of this disappointment, and maybe you'll agree, will make us enjoy it that much more because we've been through this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm ready, man. I am ready for the glory of the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. I know you're ready to see the Niners win the Super Bowl again. And, you know, the exciting thing is that just means that we just got to come back for next year. So just be on the lookout for year 3, because that is going to do it for this edition of Meat on the 50. One episode left. It's our Super Bowl episode. It's our Super Bowl picks. Oh, God, man, it's just going to be, that'll just be a nice, quick episode, more of a celebratory episode of the entire NFL season. And then we'll just sprinkle in that little, you know, that little game that's there at State Farm, you know, Patrick Mahomes Arena. So we'll see what happens. We got the Pro Bowl next week. Who you going with? Team Peyton or Team Eli?
Wherever Christian McCaffrey's at, wherever he's at.
There we go. I love it. We'll find out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, what a ride it has been, and I'm glad you are back so I can ask you this. Brandon, any last words for the people?
Just unfortunate. Nobody, I mean, I don't think anybody wants to watch the Super Bowl or cares about the Super Bowl unless you're a Chiefs or Eagles fan. I mean, the Eagles, Philadelphia fan base, from what I've seen, is they're pretty grounded.
Atrocious. Yeah, they're atrocious. Yeah.
And then the Chiefs fans, they've come out of the woodworks.
Yeah, they just blah, blah. Just like Tony Romo, man. Just blah, 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 blah,
both teams are annoying.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody got what they wanted. You got the State Farm Bowl. You're going to have 20 million State Farm commercials. And then you got Jackson Mahomes and you got Brittany Mahomes, the wife of Patrick Mahomes. You guys get to see a TikTok and the Super Bowl, and you get to see them and all this. So congratulations to everybody who wanted that to happen. Because I know there's a lot of haters out there that didn't want the Bengals or 49ers. You want to see Chiefs versus Eagles. So enjoy that trash. What I will say is my preference is the Chiefs. Because the Eagles are in the NFC, I would prefer for them to lose.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll get into our picks. I'm not picking who I'm going to think right now, but my preferences is I would prefer for them to lose, because most times, you know, when you lose, you're having that Super Bowl hangover the next year. And for some reason, I just cannot. With Philly, it's like, it's essentially just their fan. Like the Chiefs bother me more, I think. But what impacts me more out in public and out everywhere else? The fans. I don't hang out with the players. I don't know the players.
True.
The fans, like you said, are absolutely atrocious. The city of Philadelphia. That's the only thing. Here it is. Houston Astros winning. I didn't have a preference when it was Houston Astros or Phillies. I really did, because the city of Philly does not deserve titles. They're terrible. They do not deserve titles. So I do not want the Eagles winning. I don't want them winning.
There we go. I like it, Brandon, riling up those Philly fans. You know, I there we go. Stirring the controversy. Not much more you could ask for. But hey, I think it's just a perfect time to just let you all know at home that we want to thank you for taking the time, for checking us out, watching us, whether you're a new viewer, old viewer, whatever. We hope that we have done enough to keep you coming back for more. And if you're a Philly fan, come back, because you can just get your blood boiling more at Brandon's more hatred towards Philly, right? That is going to do it. What a season. What a season. That is one of my best friends, Brandon Sullivan. Welcome back, my friend. Good to have you back. I am Jacob Carr, the fantasy guy. And until our Super Bowl picks episode, Brandon and Jake, we're out.